All right, so it's that time of year. We're up here in Jersey for Reef-A-Palooza in New York. Jersey, for all those critics out there. We couldn't track Vic down for this weekend, so he's a busybody. So I've got a couple of tours here to do in Jersey, and we're off the beaten path. We're just outside of Atlantic City on a dead-end road. But we hear this guy's got a couple of nice tanks, and I really want to go see him. So let's go inside and check him out. All right, Ryan, thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for coming.
You have a beautiful home and super nice tanks.
Appreciate it.
We're here in Atlantic City, is that right?
Anchorage Township, close enough.
Close enough. All right, so we're only a little bit from Atlantic City. And we've been trying to get up here for a couple of months now, and I'm really glad we made it. Tell us a little bit about what you have here. This is a what size tank?
So this is a Innovative Marine 200 Peninsula.
6 feet long?
6 foot long, 30 inches wide, about 22 tall. It's about 270 total volume with the Frag tank and the sump.
Okay. And how long has it been set up altogether?
Just under 2 years.
Yeah. It looks great for 2 years
just
old.
under 2 years.
And I see we've got Radion Gen 4s.
Gen 4s.
So there's 4 of those. And what are the
Reef Bright XHO hang-ons.
I really like that look. What was the decision there to go with the Reef Brights as opposed to just the Radions?
I think it was the tank over there gives me like that, like I told you, I was telling you earlier, that blue pop, you know, late in the evening and just really shines. So I think that's why I wanted to go with the hang-ons.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that in a minute here. You've got Hydras over there, and you were talking about how nice the blue is. Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I love that blue on the Hydra.
Yeah.
So you've got Reef Bright XHOs. They're the 12-inch model.
Yep.
And there's 2, 4, 6, 8 of those. And then I see MP40s on the far side.
Mm-hmm.
And I see, is it Nero 7s?
Nero 7s.
And there's 2 of those.
2 of those.
And tell us a little bit about why you decided to go with Neros on this side and MP40s on the other.
That end has overflow.
Uh-huh.
I needed something that could be in the water on the other side.
Okay.
That's it. That's the only reason. I would have went with all MP40s, but I needed something with a magnet, not a motor.
Everybody likes the Peninsula because you can keep that one side nice and clean. How come you ended up putting MP40s on the other side?
I couldn't get enough flow. Everything down here was fine and looked happy and healthy. Everything down here was like stagnant. I just couldn't get the flow down here. Soon as I added that, everything here was happy and I tried going with a gyre style, and all it did was make it like a snowstorm. It just kicked up all the sand. So
and you use a finer sand too.
I used the finer sand because I like my gobies.
Okay.
So ultimately, I ended up going with the MP40s. I chose happiness of the corals over aesthetics for myself.
Good call. Yeah, so I set that question up. I knew the answer was coming. I'm not a Peninsula style fan.
Yeah.
I think that the way that the water returns to the drain is horrible. And the only real logical solution to that is either add flow that pushes back towards the drain, or figure out how to have a coarse gravel on the bottom or something that's not going to move and really rip flow down the other end and hope that it gets back to the drain.
I'm happy with it, I guess, you know, in retrospect to how it looks. So
well, you should be happy, man.
I can't complain too much. I would like it to look a little cleaner on that end, but
look, I'll tell you, almost every Peninsula tank that I've seen, it always has some sort of particulate floating around in the water column, some sort of slime on the surface.
Top, yeah.
Man, you're not dealing with any of that. I think execution-wise, you're doing a really good job. I see you've got a couple of anemones in there. What were you thinking?
I wasn't. I had them in a breeder box. They were going to my brother-in-law, and while I was at work, one of the fish dumped the box. So I came home to 5 anemones already attached in the tank. I've been plucking them out one at a time here and there when I can get them out, but that rock down there, it's so they got their feet so deep. There's no getting them out.
They look really cool. I mean, I think it adds a nice, different layer to the tank. You've got the torches, you've got the ganies, you have the really nice cloves down on the other end.
Yeah.
And then the solid acros, but then you've got this big wavy patch of multiple colors.
Yeah,
I think it looks good.
It's nice. It did give some movement down that end. I would like movement that doesn't attack everything and kill my acros, but Yeah, they will at some point come out when I have the means to have a bunch of frags. You can't put your hand in there without breaking stuff. So
Right. How often do they move to the other sections of the tank?
they don't.
They don't. So
They
they
don't.
stay right by
They
that
stay
flow.
right there. Because if they did, it would be more of a problem than it is. You know what I mean? So, but they don't. They stay right there. I guess they like the flow. They don't. They just took out all the acros in that area.
I do appreciate when I see a tank that's done well and there's a anemone or 2 or 30.
Yeah, or 30. Yeah.
You've got a bunch of different stuff. I see softies, star polyps. I see LPS, like your candy canes. I even see an elegance down here.
Yeah, that coral, that elegance has been with me since almost 8 years since I started in the hobby. That was one of my first corals.
Wow. And that's a fickle coral too.
Yeah, that thing has been 5 different tanks now, and it was in this tank over here in the corner.
Okay.
And the powder blue, the hybrid, started nipping at the end of it.
No kidding.
Doesn't touch any other coral in there, but I actually caught him doing it, so I'm not losing one of my oldest corals. So I moved it over here.
Well, it was a good
just
call.
as happy.
And you don't seem to have a prejudice against any type of coral. You've got zoanthids, you've got montes, chalices.
Yeah, this one I wanted to do more of a mix, but obviously SPS Dom, but more of a mixed reef, which then goes back to that flow issue. You know what I mean? Trying to get that all right. But yeah, I mean, I did this one, the one over there, as more, SPS tank, and then this one I wanted to do a mixed reef, which comes with its own issues in itself, right? From lighting to flow to everything.
Can we talk about your lighting schedule?
Yeah.
How long do you run the schedule?
So this tank is on 13 hours a day.
And how long do you run the whites for? Or is it a mixed?
It's just a mix. I do a 2-hour ramp up. 2-hour ramp up, then everything's on. That's when the reef brights come on at the top of the ramp up. Then they're on for 8 hours at full blast, and then 2-hour ramp down to end. So at the ramp up, the reef brights come on, ramp down, reef brights go off.
So the top ramp of the schedule is more like an AB plus, where it's like
it's AB plus, but it's like a little version of it.
Okay.
It is, yeah. It's pretty much the AB plus schedule.
And what total intensity do you run?
45, I want to say. 45. Yeah.
And the power heads on this end, are they on a constant or are they on a random?
They're on random setting, yeah.
Okay.
I kind of have the two kind of like battling each other basically to give me that nice turbulent flow in there for the acros.
And these look like they have a little bit of a pulse to them. I can see it kind of slows down and then and it goes a little bit harder.
Yeah, they're actually a great wave maker, the Nero 7s. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about them.
I don't think people know how strong they are. They're 3,500 gallons per hour, right?
Yeah, they put it out. They definitely do.
I think they might be more than that, but it's more than 3,000 gallons per hour. It's a hell of a pump. So the Ghani, what's the story behind that? The clownfish seems to like it.
I'll tell you what. Something that like a coral that likes to be fed, you couldn't ask for more to have a poop factory.
Yeah.
Living in it. That thing, that was a quarter. I got it like 9 months ago. That was only the size of a quarter, constantly getting fed all day.
Yeah, absolutely. So. I like what you did with the Montes over here, where you've got layers of different types.
Yeah, I'm hoping them too. They're kind of like growing into each other, but not really grafting together. Be nice. Be nice if it would, though, right?
You'd be lucky if that was the case. I like the Briarium in the bottom. What do they call those? Daisy? Is that daisy polyps?
Those ones right there.
Yeah,
they're that's a star polyp. That's midnight star polyp. I think is what they call it. Yeah, it's different. You know, I mean, most people have just the regular green star polyp.
The return pump. We're gonna go take a peek underneath the stand there, but you have 2 returns I saw under there.
Yeah,
is that for the frag tank or is
that... the Reef Octopus pump does just the display.
Okay.
That's just the return for the display, and then the second pump does the manifold under there, which I have 3 different things on. I can one frag tank, UV, and then whatever the third of my choosing. If I want to, I think right now I have a GFO reactor on that one.
Cool. So that's smart. These guys are buddies, huh?
They are
all the time.
They are. Yep. They're buddies. And,
ever since I've been here, they've been side by side with each other.
Yeah, and they're both growing at the same rate too, and unfortunately they'll both probably have to be rehomed at the same time.
You're gonna put them on the garage?
Yeah, well, they'll go in one of the bins out there.
So what do you have in here for fish?
So mostly tangs. I got quite a few tangs. I got the hippo, orange shoulder. It's not gray yet.
Kind of orange shoulder.
Yeah, kind of
Little
orange
juvenile.
shoulder.
I like when they change.
Yeah, I like them in the gray. Definitely like them as the gray colors. The Flamingi, convict tang. I think I had 3 lyre tails. Anthea's in there. The regular rabbit fish.
The half black chromis. Those are cool.
Yeah, there was 3 of them in there, but I guess chromis do what chromis do and
That's right.
pick each other off. And now I got 1.
Well, that's all right because this one's starting to get that fork tail. They get the double lyre on the top and the bottom of their tail.
Right. Yeah. Well, he don't like me. I put my hand in the tank. He goes after me every time. It's a yellow eye coal tang.
Tomini.
Yeah, Tomini tang.
Little McCosker's wrasse.
Yep. Who else is in here? And obviously the
Is
clowns.
that, purple.
And purple tang.
Yep.
There was 2 purples in here. I had them in here together, and they were perfectly fine for the longest time. And then this one started picking on the other one. The other one was like it's a big purple too, and the little one started picking on him. So to the point where he was like completely stressed out, looking like pale color, the whole 9. So out he came.
Fiji fox face.
Yeah.
And
just magnificent in here too, somewheres.
Yeah, he's on the other side.
The
Coral beauty.
Sailfin tang and a coral beauty. Yeah.
That's one fish. Anybody who knows me, they know I do not like dwarf angels. That is my thing.
Yeah.
I always see him pick at corals, and I'm more of a coral fan than I'm a fish fan.
Oh, and I forgot about my springer.
Oh yeah, there he is. You got to find you a male swallowtail.
I do. I've been looking. I can't.
Have you?
Yeah, I've been looking for a while. Nobody ever has them. They have the one that looks like they always have. What's the one that looks like the male swallowtail?
So there's.
But it's not.
There's Lamarck's.
Is that what it is? The Lamarck's kind of
Lamarck's
looks
are
like
the one
male.
with the banding.
Yeah, yeah.
So that to me is a great reef fish. All Genacanthus angels are going to be more of a pelagic zooplanktivore. They're going to be eating stuff out of the water column. They're not going to bother your coral.
Yeah, I've been looking, and I forgot about my copper band. Wherever he's at, he's on here somewhere. That is an Aptasia eating monster.
Yep.
I've had him for about 6 years, and he just devours.
Orange spot blenny.
Yeah, yep, he's in there.
Yeah, so that's probably why you don't see Aptasia in your tank.
That's exactly why, because I have it in the sump, and I have it in the overflow. Yeah, yep, and he keeps it at bay in here.
Great fish. So your water change schedule. How often do you do it, and what volume?
I can tell you how often I like to do it.
Never.
No. I try. I like to stay at like a month, 30% monthly.
Okay.
But what I do is I'll alternate. Like I'll do this one, and then 2 weeks later I'll do that one, and then 2 weeks later I'll do this one again. So they wind up being a month, but
they're just staggered by 2 weeks.
Yeah, staggered by 2 weeks.
So what do you do to manage nitrate and phosphate then if you go every month without doing a water change?
I mean, really, it's just the amount of, I think it's the amount of rock and just media in general that I have in the sump, that kind of thing, just kind of sucking it out. And also I feed live phyto daily, so that that's also beneficial for pulling some of that stuff out. I have the Chaeto in the sump.
We have a lot of coral too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, filtered by coral.
So this is a good message. I mean, I like to try to bring in some sort of information, each time we do one of these videos. The message that I want to take away from that is you have a lot of coral, so there's a lot of uptake. That's probably understated here.
Oh, yeah.
Those stonies are capable of pulling a ton of phosphate out of this water. And then 2, you have big fish. You have big healthy fish. So the volume of food that you're feeding is appropriate for the size of the tank and its ability to absorb what you're putting in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would definitely agree on that one. And they definitely, he's testament, and that one there testament as how well they're fed. I mean, they're fat fish. Make sure everybody's fed healthy. I really don't feed the coral. Like I don't feed powdered foods or none of that. That also helps keep the stuff down as well.
Sure it does.
But
also too, I mean, it's also understated, the way that you have the flow set up to get the crap back to the drain is functional.
Right.
It does a good job of getting it out of the tank because
Right.
you do change your mechanical out. All right, so I wanted to come over to the other side, and I'm glad we did because you've got a lot of stuff going on down here.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I'll be perfectly honest with you, for as much as you have going on down here, it's clean. It's nice to see. So either you spend a lot of time getting ready for us, or you do a good job. Look, you've got it pretty well organized. I don't know if we can get the camera in here and see your hydro stuff is all pretty well away from the water, nice, neat, and organized. Super nice job. What prompted you to use hydros?
Why I wanted to go to hydros first off was that it's an aquarium product that is actually water resistant.
Fair. Good point.
That one is not. Apex is not, and that's what drew me to it first, and then the customer service. Anytime I've ever had an issue.
Yeah, I think personally, for me, what stands out about the Hydros product is you can tell it's built by a reefer. So all the functionality to
Right.
it, all the templated built products inside of the software, you can tell it's hobbyists that are actually building and using the
Right.
product. So you had mentioned when we were sitting on the other side, you were in 2 return pumps. We've got the Varios. What size is that?
8.
Varios 8, and then you've got the Mighty Jet that comes with the tank.
Yeah, it comes. Yeah, the one.
And the Mighty Jet's running what?
Mighty Jet runs the manifold there, which does the GFO, the UV that's tucked away back there, and then the Frag tank.
Okay. You're running Kalkwasser, so this is the basis of your elk?
That is. So it's the basis that doesn't even come close to covering the demand. So I'm dosing just shy of what I'm evaporating daily.
Okay.
On that, and then
and about how much do you have to add to this, and how frequent?
So I am adding every 7 to 10 days a cup and a half of Kalkwasser to the stirrer.
Okay.
And I'm dosing about 3,700 milliliters.
And you're saying that's to match your evaporation just about.
That's just shy of my evaporation. And then to pick up the rest, I'm running Reef Pro.
Okay. And this is a GFO?
Yeah, it's just a GFO and/or carbon reactor.
And how often do you have to change that out?
I would say probably once a month on the GFO. If I only run carbon when needed. I don't like running carbon all the time. So if I need to run carbon, I'll switch it out and I'll put carbon in there with the GFO, and then run it just on a really slow. I mean, like real slow, like barely even running through it kind of thing.
Yeah,
just to pull a little bit out.
It's running right now?
It is running right now.
Yeah, you can see it's not moving.
No,
so very low pace.
Very, very low pace.
Going back to the same thing again. Yeah. It's all about balance.
Yeah.
So it looks like you've got a CO2 scrubber set up.
I do. Yeah.
So I'm assuming that you dealt with low pH.
Yep.
And this helped?
Absolutely. So the combination of that with the Kalkwasser has got me to, I'm pinned at 8.4 all the time.
All day?
Yeah, pretty much all day, 8.4.
It's impressive.
At night, it drops to 8 to 8.1, give or take.
Okay.
But I run the opposite light schedule with the Chaeto to help combat that drop.
And this is a Reef Octopus skimmer.
Yeah, Reef Octopus skimmer.
How often do you have to change out or remove Chaeto?
Probably every 2 weeks. I got to cut it in half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And I see a ton of biomedia in here. A ton.
Of media. Yeah.
That is seriously, that's more than a 5-gallon bucket full of biomedia.
No, it looks like there's more than there is. I don't know.
At least a space for microfauna to be living and existing.
Yeah, well, like I was saying earlier about the whole having media available, like in an emergency, like you got to set up a quarantine tank or something like that.
So then you've got on this side a Tunzi auto top off, okay, and that's going to be feeding your calc stir.
The reservoir feeds the calc stir. I don't feed from the auto top off though. The auto top off is separate. So whatever, if I evaporate more than what I'm dosing in a day, it still tops the tank off.
So that's good. So you've got a redundant ATO basically. Do you have any fail safes built into this hydros? Like if this happens, this shuts off. If this happens, give me an alert.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I know there's probably a whole lot more that hydros does that I really don't or haven't gotten into. If I'm drop Wi-Fi connection, lose power or something like that, I get the alert.
Or a high pH marker or a low pH marker?
Yeah, all the marker, for that kind of stuff.
That's good, because I mean, if you're using kalkwasser, you want to see if there's that jump in pH, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And I use the IV to test twice a day.
Okay.
So I'm testing once in the morning, once in the evening, and that's another indicator if something's going on.
I think that's probably the most important part to a controller system for me, is that you can actually look at a graph, and the trend is actually the focal point,
Right.
not in the number.
Right.
Man, you do a hell of a job. The corals even look good from this side of the tank.
Yeah.
Usually on a peninsula, one side looks substantially better than the other.
And I think that's the hard part with peninsulas, and maybe that's why I like them so much, because it's a little more challenging as far as getting it all right.
Mm-hmm.
And you say two sides, but I mean, we talked about that third side as well. That is actually my favorite view of the tank. If you stand down there and look across the acros, you're not going to see a prettier shot. I mean, that's my favorite view, and I hate that I blocked it up. But hopefully, when the thing, my project is done out in the garage, all them frag racks and stuff will be gone, and they'll have a place of their own.
Yeah, that's why we went with 2 of the tanks for our 4,000 gallon system, because I wanted to be able to look through that center pane, and look through 22 feet of water. Because I agree with you, that depth is something different.
It is.
Can we look at your other tank? Yeah. That thing is overgrown, and I want to show everybody.
Absolutely.
So, like I said over there, I wanted to come over here and showcase this tank, because to me, this is how an aquarium is supposed to look. It looks like you left it alone. It looks like you didn't frag everything down into a million pieces. And it's so healthy as the result of it.
People seem to, they have this need to fix things when they see the slightest issue. You know what I mean? Like the slightest little thing, and people just have this need to touch and put their hands in there and just try and fix something that a lot of times just will work itself out, and if you just leave it alone, let it do its thing. If you have a healthy system, it can take care of quite a bit on its own. And then when you just put your hands in there and start tinkering with things, it just compounds the problem. You're adding issues instead of just letting it work through that one issue.
I feel like I see everybody want to try this fad or try that fad, or they're just impatient and they think that they need to make a change because the coral's not growing as fast as they think it should, but really they're causing the problem.
Yeah.
The mentality of the younger, I don't mean by age, the younger in the hobby, the younger crowd, they want to buy a bunch of frags, and then they want to trim frags off of frags and sell it to their buddies or start a online business. But the truth is, you don't ever see the corals grow. I never see a filled out tank. And dude, really, this is a true testament to a filled out healthy reef. I think these layers, I mean, you've got Monty, you've got Pavona, you've got Chalice, more Monty, Hydnophora, and literally everything under the sun in here. And forget about the fact that they're slightly imperfect. Right? Maybe that doesn't open up all the way, or maybe that's a little shaded and dead in the middle because this is growing over top of it. But this is a functional reef. This is literally the way a reef would be growing.
Again, I kind of, I was just okay. I was okay with the warfare.
Yeah.
Coral on coral warfare. So if it's growing, if it's coexisting with each other, it didn't matter to me that, there's a little bit of dead branch here or whatever. I mean, that happens in the wild as well.
It looks normal and natural,
It looks more natural that way.
As long as you don't let your prized possession get completely swallowed up and you trim around it frequently enough to get it out of the death zone.
Right, that's what I do, yeah. So
look at this. I mean, that's coral sticking out of the water.
Yeah.
Both of these.
Yeah.
Killer job. So I saw a little frag tank over here, and it made me wonder, is this something that you do on the side? Do you sell corals?
I'm on TikTok and Instagram all the time. Go live and try and do it that way.
And this is you?
That's me. Coral Compulsion.
Coral Compulsion. If you guys want to be supportive, go check out Ryan's stuff. I mean, he's got awesome corals. He's doing it right. You can tell he really cares about the animal. And I mean, it shows in what you do. So I'm excited to see what this grow out space is going to look like.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's about 500 square foot of my garage is being converted into into a small farm, and hopefully we're going to be able to get something going. The Shopify site will be dropping soon. But for now, if you know, I'm on Instagram and TikTok, you can reach out to me that way.
All right, we've got Reef-A-Palooza in New York this weekend, but I think by the time we post this video, it's worth noting that we've got Reef-A-Palooza again in California. So that's August 30th and 31st. Same thing. Get there. We're going to have 50 free shirts. Make sure you stop in and see us. Both Vic and I will be at the booth. We'll see you then. Ryan, I appreciate you having us into your home.
I appreciate you guys coming.
So make sure you go check him out. He's Coral Compulsion. We're going to put a link in the description below. Don't forget, like and subscribe. We're going to make sure that we get you those notifications when we drop a new video. So thanks for coming. We'll see you next time.